Welcome to Cody and the Cinema. Today I'm discussing 5 products from the Criterion Collection that I believe have a great bang for your buck, great value, great purchases for people who are looking to get as much in the way of quality films that they can at the lowest price, particularly around sales, or if you see a deal on Amazon or eBay or whatever it is. These are ones that I would typically gravitate toward. And the very first one that came to mind is something that I think I got for $50, and it's the Before Trilogy. And if you have not ever heard of these films, these are 3 films about a couple with an interesting romantic journey. They first meet in Before Sunrise for a single evening on a train, and they kind of walk the city together. And this is just such a fun story, so energetic and full of enthusiasm, and seeing their transformation in all 3 films is quite fascinating. This is an essential piece to own within the collection, and it's just they're so watchable and so fun to watch. Although the third one is a little different tonally than the first 2, but I really am partial to the first one and the second one, but especially the first one. So I think this would be a good place to start. In terms of one of the packages that I think they've put out that is almost like underpriced even, because I think you can get this in the neighborhood of $70 online when last I checked, is this 5-pack of John Cassavetes films. So John Cassavetes, if you're unfamiliar, was like, he's an independent director, and he's famous for, in Rosemary's Baby, he was in that picture, and certainly that's where a lot of people would know him from, but as a director, he directed what I think is the film that features the best performance of anyone in any film that is in here. So that would be A Woman Under the Influence. And, for this particular set, the packaging isn't super sturdy, but, it still works. And this film with Gena Rowlands is just like one of the best performances you'll ever see. It's right up there with the actress who played in the Joan of Arc in that silent picture. This is a beautiful film, and so you get that, plus you get 4 others, and I have seen Shadows, which is in here, and Opening Night, and I haven't watched The Killing of a Chinese Bookie or Faces, but this is a really, you get 5 films out of this, and it's also just got this neat little cover. It's a nice piece, I think, for your film collection. I would get this, even if you only got the 3 films I saw. I think it's worth that. So definitely something you should check out. The other 3, so this is one I've been working through that I think this one's not talked about enough because this director had such an interesting life. This is the director of Salò, but Pasolini's 9 films, this particular pack, you can probably get that for $100 or under, and it has his most famous film is the Gospel of Matthew, and that's in here as well as some others, and they are kind of stacked in here toward the top. So you get those films. This is a good choice for those who want to see more Italian cinema. If you don't want to fool with the essential Fellini pack, this might be a good one for you, and I've loved everything I've seen out of it, so I would definitely recommend that. Now, if you want to look at one of their most unique releases and something that I've long been a fan of, I think this was actually the first large Criterion product I ever bought. This Godzilla Showa pack is still really cool. Just talking about the look of it, it's gigantic, and that is appropriate for the release. Godzilla towering over your movie collection feels cool, I think, anyway. And even without the films, the artwork in this thing is so incredible. I've just always loved it. Just beautiful artwork. But it does come with, 8 disc, I think 8 or 9 disc. And it has certain versions from that era that I think you can't see anywhere else. And it's just so many movies. If you can get this thing between $125 and $175, I think would be a good deal on it. Now, the only thing with this one is the discs kind of slide around a little bit, and that annoys some people. I don't think it's a huge deal, but it is something to be aware of. It is one of those versions that I hesitated on because it felt like, well, you know, I'm this like serious Criterion collector, right? Well, I really enjoy these films, and I do every time I put one on. I found myself immersed in the world and the storytelling and the uniqueness of these monsters fighting each other. I really think Godzilla, the Showa Air, and I'm probably not pronouncing that right, sorry, but I do think you're going to have a good time with that. Yeah, if you want to ask what I think the very best bang for your buck that they've ever put out is, I think it's very easily the Bergman collection. This is the Ingmar Bergman Cinema. If you could get this under 200, easily a great addition, okay? It is, not only does it feature this iconic art from Persona on it, but it also just has all of these films. I mean, you know, it's got this, so here are the films, but the booklet, I've read through a lot of this. By the way, you get a good sturdy box. I take this thing out frequently, and that box is not wearing out. You get a great booklet. How many hundreds of pages is this thing? 240 some. A stellar booklet, lots of good reading in there. I've read quite a bit of it. It's been very insightful. I don't find there to be a lot of filler, but I think disc-wise you get like, let's see, this is 30 disc or something. Yeah, you get 30 disc. Now 29 and 30 are like more supplemental stuff, but I think you get something like 28 movies. You get both versions of Fanny and Alexander. Most of his big stuff is in here. Okay, you're going to get like, you know, The Winter Light, those movies, Seventh Seal. I mean, it's Cries and Whispers, like, it's a crazy good collection. And in fact, I would not even buy any of these individually. I would just get all the Bergman in this set instead of buying those films individually over time. It's just not as good of a value. So those are some pointers for people that maybe aren't, you know, you're kind of getting into this sort of thing and you wanted to know some good places to start in terms of value. Those are the best, in my opinion, that I personally own. What are some that you like? You know, for long-time collectors, is there something you would have thrown on here? Let me know. This is just out of stuff I own. If you did like the video and you want to click like, that would really help grow the channel. Like buttons do grow YouTube channels, right? Leave a comment for me. Consider subscribing if you haven't done that. I've put lots of content on here, you know, especially Criterion-related, Westerns, just different stuff like that. And we'll see you next time on Cody in the Cinema.